Well, I never thought I'd be here reviewing this, but as you can see in the title, this week I watched My Little Pony, the movie. So, originally, I didn't really intend on reviewing this, but the more I sat with it, I thought I would take a crack at it, because I have a perspective that's probably pretty different from the vast majority of people who've seen the movie. It's because I've literally only seen one episode of My Little Pony start to finish in my life. I wouldn't exactly call myself a fan of the show. So I thought about it and then decided I want to take a look at this movie and judge it as just that, a movie, and not have the backlog of the show to support it. While I might not have what I guess you could call a pony bias, I do have a 2D bias, because in feature film, 2D animation is essentially dead, and has been for a little while now. It's basically only relegated to credit sequences at the end of 3D movies now. Visually, this is the one place I do have to compare the movie to the show, as there is a standard for what the movie has to look like. And in that aspect, the movie easily soars past the show, as the movie is gorgeous. It was animated completely in a different style, using a different program. It really is a huge step up. Specifically, the effects animation. I could look at that stuff in the movie all day. The plot was basically what I had expected it to be. The ponies go on a journey, meet an interesting cast of characters, learn some lessons, and sing some songs. It's no Oscar winner in that regard, but I don't really have any issues with it. The plot is a little basic, but nothing overstays its welcome. It's a pretty well-paced movie. If things are starting to get a little stale, well, it's time for a song, and honestly, the music was probably the best part of the movie. Despite having so many characters and only 99 minutes to develop each of them, each character gets their own little moment throughout the movie, so you have an insight into what they're like. It's not on the same level as character growth in most movies, but these aren't exactly new characters. But despite me not having watched the vast majority of content out there, I didn't really leave the movie asking questions about who was that or what are they like in the show. I get a pretty good taste of all of it. My only real complaint with this movie is the ending. And because it's the ending, I don't really want to spoil it, so I won't. But the story has its natural conclusion, but there is this one extra little thing that when you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. It feels a little tacked on / Hollywood meddling. It's not that big of a deal, but had it been relegated to the credits, I think I would have been fine with it there. When comparing this to other animated movies, it's hard for me to say this movie is worth a watch if you're an adult and know nothing of the source material. But by no means was this a bad movie. It's clear to me that they kind of intend on you having watched the show. And from asking around if you're a fan of the show, then this movie's fantastic. And at the end of the day, that's who this movie was made for. It wasn't meant for me. It was meant for the fans. So if you're a fan of the show, yeah, go watch this movie.